team fight ultimates there with the Death Ward, of course. Mini stuns coming out. There's nothing more annoying than getting donked back and forth by that paralyzing cask.
Yep. Now, CerDota2 could be... They could be pretty greedy here. If they think the Mirana is going to be, in fact, mid, they could just send the Morphling mid against Mirana, because Mirana isn't really that great versus Morphling. She can't really trade. Her right click is pretty terrible. He can Morph dodge the Starstorm, or he can Waveform dodge the Starstorm and the arrow. And then they could just, do something crazy like Drow safe lane, and then they would be like... That would just be a really scary lineup, but we'll see. Same with the Prancing Roosters. Prancing Roosters also go with a Drow right now, which would be very strong versus a illusion-based lineup. Drow hits pretty hard.
We know that they've run Drow strats before in the past too. I've seen Horsemen play at mid, so that could be essentially what they're going for, getting a lot of agi carries here, really maximizing on the Drow aura as well.
Yeah, Mirana doesn't really have great kill potential mid solo 1v1 if it's a ranged hero, because she has to really get up in the creep wave, and it's kind of scary for her at sometimes. She does have Leaf though, so.
Are they gonna get a Medusa? They banned out the AM.
Possible. Well, they might have an AM. Sometimes it's a Morphling. Technically, is a hard counter to AM, but and the other way, AM can also counter Morphling late game if he gets ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also a good ban versus Morphling sometimes. Because if you jump on him with an Abyssal and Manta and you drain his mana, he can't do anything.
Yeah,
but technically, Morphling's actually the counter to AM, but you wouldn't know. You wouldn't notice that. Oh, yeah,
there's a Drow. That's gonna be a Horseman Drow. It's gonna be an Arcane Morphling. We've seen this similar strat, I believe, before, played by CerDota2.
Personally, I would rather see the Morphling mid than the Drow Ranger, because Morphling has an escape. Drow Ranger does not. She does have the Gust, but if Mirana leaps on her, the chances of getting that Gust off aren't going to be great, especially if she's getting dunked. So, that's just my opinion, though.
There's the watermelon. We mentioned this actually in the lobby before we started up the cast. Stand Sacred actually has a Tidehunter avatar as an actual watermelon.
I wonder if he's gonna play off lane. I feel like it's really good.
I hope so.
And that would be some serious justice. I mean, this lane, they pretty much have their safe lane won, because Tide can't really do anything to a Drow SD, or a Morph SD for that matter.
Your favorite hero for
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Winter Wyvern.
It's not great here. It's good setup for the arrow. It can...
For the arrow?
Yeah, because if you freeze someone on your team healing...
Setup. I thought you said setup for the arrow, and I
yeah,
was like, what are you talking about?
It is good setup for the arrow, yeah. Because you heal someone, and as they're being healed, an arrow comes in from 5 seconds away, and then you may have healed them, but now they have 5 seconds. Oh, that's a really good counter for Drow, actually.
Gonna have to make sure that they have lots of detection placed out, because that Slark's gonna get a Shadow Blade, and he's gonna be hunting that Drow Ranger.
Slark can easily kill pretty much their entire lineup with some farm. Like, none of these heroes are tanky innately. Morphling doesn't like to sit at high HP for most of the game. Like, he's still gonna be low HP, and Slark burst damage can kill him. So he's gonna have to be careful the way he plays the Morphling if he's split farming or split pushing. The Wyvern's okay. The only issue with that again is if they're frozen, he can still stat steal and kill through the heal. But it's most likely you're not gonna out stat steal the heal, but it's still free essence shift stack.
On the flip side, though, what could be really interesting is if the Slark actually is not the target of the Winter's Curse, he can actually steal essence shifts off of his own teammates.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. That is actually a thing.
I wonder. I mean, because they don't really have great. The Wyvern ult is. So I wonder who they kill late game. I guess Slark could, in theory, kill Witch Doctor or Mirana late game if he had enough items.
Sometimes it's just good to hold them in place as well, so they can readjust.
They do need another support, unless that's a Mirana 4. And they're gonna surprise us with a different mid pick, like an Alchemist or something.
That's possible. I know Ashendir plays some OD, plays Storm as well.
OD
Storm
would actually be really sick.
But OD would be a really good pickup. He's really good against Morphling here. So they could actually run the Mirana as a 4. A bit greedy, but yeah.
It is, yep.
Called it.
I mean, they are. It is. Oh, that's gonna be okay. Maybe.
Yep, and we called it. Yep, Sacred gonna be playing the Watermelon Tidehunter. Ashen Deer playing the OD. So that's a roaming Mirana.
And OD versus that's actually really bad for Drow. If she gets Astral,
arrows just
yeah,
thrown
that's
at her face nonstop. Yeah, this is a pretty scary lineup.
And the other thing about arrow is you don't actually have to time it perfectly. If the arrow is anywhere even remotely within the AoE of when you drop out, you get stunned by it. So it's somewhat easy to hit comparatively to other stuff. Not as easy to sleep, obviously, or a stun, but
looks like okay. We're gonna load into the game here. So, welcome guys, this is Requiem Autumn, this is CerDota2 versus Prancing Roosters. This is a lower division game. We casted Moxie, casting this Professor Pinktops tonight, and thank you for joining us. I know that the NA Battle Cup is going on right now, but we do appreciate you guys watching. And we'll go ahead and introduce the teams over on the side of CerDota2 on the Radiant. We've got Oso will be playing the Winter Wyvern, Arke will be playing the Morphling, Horseman will be playing the Drow Ranger, Bencha will be playing Shadow Demon, and Emil Mata going to be playing Darkseer. On the side of the Dire, Sacred will be playing that Watermelon Tidehunter, Citterboy will be playing our Slark, Woody will be playing the Roaming Mirana, Ashen Deer will be playing the OD Mid, and Occam's Chainsaw, what a name, going to be playing the Witch Doctor. Looks like they've reconnected now over on the side of CerDota2, but I think someone just went off to use the bathroom, so we'll hold up just a little bit longer. I hate this tail on Wyvern. It looks so wrong.
I mean, I don't know how you're flying with that thing going on there.
Exactly, right? That's not aerodynamic.
But she does have armor on, so at the same time. They do have a very blue theme lineup. They kind of messed up with the Shadow Demon, but it's alright. He's got some purple hint. Some of these heroes have some purplish things going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a spectrum.
It's like a spectrum. Yeah, it really is.
It's a bit of a spectrum over there. It's actually kind of in the correct order, too, of like variations of blue to purple.
Yep.
Wyvern's got that value Windlace early. Give her a little extra move speed. She can chase down people.
Yeah, early on with the Drow damage, she's really gonna hurt with the Arctic Burn.
No, you don't get a buff with the Arctic Burn.
No, you get bonus damage from Drow Ranger, regardless of but it's still more damage. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, she's gonna be able to put the slow down, and then afterwards, once that slow is over, she's gonna be able to click for a nice extra bonus amount here. Ooh, this courier. This is a fancy courier. Noble and Imperial Pride. Oh, it's an MVP courier! Korea, man. And they've got the Wyverling over here. Occam's Chainsaw, very nice. And looks like they're just gonna head off to their respective lanes here. Not gonna go for anything tricky like a smoke gank or anything like that. I got a ward over on the Witch Doctor. Did they give a ward over to Tidehunter? No ward on Tidehunter, so they're only gonna be putting down one ward here. That's kind of scary for Tide.
Yeah, he probably should have went Iron Talon and not even gone to that lane. That lane's gonna be very hard to deal with.
Granted, he's a tanky Watermelon, but that's a lot of slow. That's and a lot of damage is going to be tossed at him as well, especially if they get the Shadow Poison stacks off onto him. Yeah. Bottom rune should easily get picked up though for Horseman. And top rune should get picked up by OD, no problemo here. Ward's getting placed over on the side here by Bencho as he makes his way down to the bottom lane. So they're going to be doing a tri-lane against the Tidehunter. Mirana's going to be doing some roaming. And Drow's going to have to be really, really careful here.
I would almost just have SD submit with her, and if they get disrupted, just as disruptor yourself, and then...
No. Some pings coming out immediately from Odie.
Yeah, first shot was already...
Yep. So Mata should have a pretty easy time in this lane. He does have a ward placed over on the side. He'll know when Mirana's sneaking up on him unless she grabs a smoke. But he should be able to get levels and farm decently. Bottom lane, Tidehunter are going to have a little bit more trouble. He's
He
already
walked right
sitting
into the...
really, really low. Oh, Mata though in a lot of trouble. He does not. Oh, he does have Surge. He's level 2, so we'll be able to survive this. We'll just go ahead, pot himself up, and be okay here. Yeah, Tide's still sitting at level 1 right now. I would like to see these supports just kind of phase him out as much as possible. And right now I'm seeing that Slark actually in the lead for last hits and denies right now, sitting at 6. Morphling sitting at 5, pretty evenly matched up here. And Tidehunter's taking a lot of punishment from this Shadow Demon. It's really burning through this region pretty quickly.
It's really tough to say who this game favors late because both have really good damage. If they certain heroes get a lot of farm on them, so
I feel like if the OD and the Slark snowball, it's going to be very, very difficult for Sarah to come back into this.
yeah, agreed. Which is funny because you could say the same thing about Morphling and Drow. You know, if they snowball, it's going to be impossible for her. So it's going to be very interesting the first 15 minutes how this game goes.
Got level 2 now over on Tidehunter. They're still trying to phase him out, throwing out some of that poison. They're going to go ahead, pop the Arctic Burn over here. Wyvern just a little slow, though. I don't think she's going to be able to get any clicks off using this Arctic Burn. She actually gets one, but they won't die behind this tower. Mirana making her way over to mid right now. They do have a ward over here, though, on the side that will give the Drow the heads up that there is a Mirana sitting nearby, and in fact, the pings will come out. So Mirana will just spend some time here in mid and get really nothing out of it. Horsemen being smart, keeping space between him and the creeps for the most part, so that way they can't get a clear shot.
I mean, even if he gets arrowed, it's really dangerous to jump the tower like that.
And the OD has a double damage. It's just about to run out, though. Top lane, Mata. Living on the edge here. He's gonna try to run himself around through this jungle. Looks like Witch Doctor just doesn't even care at this point, though. He's like, alright, well, he's not gonna be getting any sort of experience. Although it does take the opportunity to get a couple clicks off onto him. Mirana hung out in mid. Got nothing out of it, unfortunately, for her. Gonna make her way back to the top lane. And OD right now is currently winning this matchup here in mid, 13-5 over on him. Whereas Drow, especially because she's had to play really carefully, and of course Drow's wind-up animation, not the greatest, 8-4. Bottom lane also trying to put out some harass here over onto the Tidehunter. We'll get off a click of the Arctic Burn. Would like to see him just continuously click him a little bit more. Does quite a lot of damage. And that'll force Tidehunter back. He's sitting at level 3 currently, whereas the Darkseer sitting at level 4. So a bit of an advantage there. So we're about 5 minutes in now, and haven't seen a first blood. Had a couple close
There's
encounters,
Narrowbot.
but... Oh, as we say that, Bencho's now in a little bit of trouble. Who used the disruption over onto himself. Oh, is this Morphling going to be able to get the last click off? One more hit. First blood will go over to RK's Morphling as he takes down Sacred. Nice play there. That was a very close call for Bencho.
Yeah, I'm sure he did that on purpose. And he was like, guys, I'm going to bait this arrow. Watch. It's going to be great.
Sure. Absolutely, right?
Tide's already half HP.
RK's leaving his Aquila on. Shame on you, RK, you know better. Ward gets placed over here by Bencho. We'll be able to give them rune information. And Drow is she stacking for herself over here? No, she's taking advantage of the camp because the wave is pushed out over towards OD's tower. Tidehunter is going to interrupt this pull. This is actually really bad. You don't want to let him get this. because he can obviously very easily jungle up that little camp that's been stacked. Couple clicks getting used here. Oh, this arrow though won't connect. Splinter Blast comes out, it cancels out Mirana's clarity. Poor Mirana, she's gonna be pretty sad about that.
It looks like OD's going the max for the 044 build, which is really good for his Drow, because she isn't getting any type of sustain, so he can probably kill her at level 9 if they sit in lane, because he can just Astral Throw twice and ulti and she'll be dead. So.
We've got an Invis Rune picked up over on OD now. Not sure if he's gonna go try to take down Drow with this, or
Does he have level? Does she have Gust? She has Gust, I don't think he kills her.
We'll just be cheeky though and throw her in a Astral timeout here.
It's a lot of damage off on her though.
Mirana coming around the side, they do have vision, they do notice that she places down a ward over here on the side. And she's gonna have to back herself out. Still has another ward on her, she's got a healing salve as well. We'll be able to just pot up and make her way back to lane.
Yep, Slark's almost 6'2", so the nightmare of having to deal with a Ion Shell creep will soon be over. The idea is what you want to do, you just want to get your Iron Talon or Ion Shell, and then you packed it and, oh well, he went 2 in Leap. That's actually kind of an issue. Level 2 should still kill it still. Looks like Witch Doctor back off the way. Go for it.
Sorry. Drow's actually out CS the OD now at this point. Like, she was having a lot of trouble earlier, but she's,
yeah, she hit so hard.
Yeah, she's actually standing like toe to toe with him now in terms of CS. I'm gonna have to ping RK later and tell him not to leave his Aquila on during laning phase unless he's pushing.
It's fine.
He knows better. Oh, what are you gonna have to go ahead and leap forward here? They do get a couple. Oh, that arrow will connect over onto Bencho. Will keep him alive a little bit longer. And the Splinter Blast comes out. It actually connects onto the courier. That's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing, but doesn't do any damage to it. Top lane, couple donks coming out. Mata will be able to run himself away. He's at level 7, and he's also picked up that wall of replica. OD standing over here in the gully. He's got a double damage. Meanwhile, bottom lane, we lose the Tidehunter. TP coming out though, they will send the OD back to the mid lane just to keep farming. He sat for quite a while over there in the river and didn't actually achieve anything with that double damage, unfortunately. I think Horseman was trying to stack this, but he didn't pull it at the right time or the right side.
Camp's pretty hard to stack if I remember correctly.
You gotta get it at 50. Oh, usually you have to get it at 55, I thought. Maybe that's to drag it over to the side. Bencho gonna start stacking that Shadow Poison down here on Sacred once again.
Looks like OD's preferring the Force Staff over the Dragon Lance at first.
How can you tell?
He has a Staff of Wizardry on the courier.
Oh, okay. Another couple donks gonna come out here. We'll connect over onto Mata. He should be fine though. And Mirana trying to just kind of catch up on her levels here in the jungle. I think right now she's sitting at the lowest level. She's sitting at level 4. Yeah, she's actually the lowest level on the map right now. And bottom lane, RK gonna be able to take down the Tidehunter yet again. That's a 3-0 Morphling right now.
Yeah, he's hitting for mid-game damage with the Drow on the map, so it's pretty good. 160, pretty much.
OD's gonna get a little damage over here onto the tower before having to move himself back. In comes the TP. And Horseman is back. Right now, RK has currently the top CS, 65 and 24. Solark sitting at 59 and 9 up here. He's got the Shadow Amulet, so it's gonna start getting time to be putting out those sentry wards, I think, over on the side of the Radiant very shortly. Which means these supports need to find a way to get some farm for themselves.
Also, it's nice because he doesn't have to actually leave the lane to regen. He can just sit in lane, turn his amulet on.
That's
if he wanted to.
It's actually gonna let Witch Doctor get some CS here in the meanwhile. Witch Doctor also has his level 6 too, so they could definitely go for some sort of team fight.
They're losing bot tower alarmingly quickly.
That's a pretty important tower. Arrow wolfed them out on Connect, and Cedar Boy Slack gonna come down here, but they lose the tower. Not sure that was a great play coming out from Prancing Roosters here. I think it would have been better to leave the Slark up there so he could just farm safely and not have to worry about...
Yeah, let's see that Shadow Blade.
He doesn't have the Shadow Blade quite yet. It's getting close to it though.
I mean, I guess the issue is they're worried about sending the Tide there, and they don't want to give more free farm. So, but
and they ping out that there's definitely vision over here on the side.
I mean, as long as the Drow's alive on the map, they can't actually send anyone down to kill him. So, unless they have like a really well timed arrow with like +1.
Mm-hmm.
And he has his Lincolns up, by the way, at 12 minutes. Because his recipe's sitting on the courier.
Yep. I'm not sure what Horseman's doing. He's kind of just hanging out in the trees. I guess maybe he's suspecting a Mirana coming in at him, but Mirana's actually sitting in wall right now. Does not have her level 6 quite yet either. And also, we'll just go forward with a little Arctic Burn. Not going to be able to do much of anything to the Slark, though. In fact, Osa should probably get himself back. An arrow comes out. It will not connect. And RK's actually rotated top. Looks like they really want this tower now that they've taken the bottom one.
Yeah, 180 damage with SD illusions behind him if they need him.
I can easily take this tower. Tidehunter is still hanging out in the jungle here. He's got his level 7, but does not have the mana to do Ravage, so this might actually be a good time for them to kind of press their luck, so to speak.
Now the one thing, if Mirana is paying attention, if Shadow Demon disrupts the Morphling too close to the tower for his illusions, she can arrow right into the disruption, potentially hit him, so...
I mean, they've got the OD too, who's going to be able to get rid of these illusions pretty quickly, but OD's still sitting in mid here. I don't think Arctic Burn affects towers, does it? Not sure where they popped that. Maybe it was a misclick.
It does give you flying vision at night, which is nice.
True.
And at night vision range 400, so...
I would like to see Bencho just make the disruption here.
Tidehunter's going mech first, too.
I don't love that pickup on Tide, personally.
It's good if you're gonna fight.
Winter's Curse coming in. Creeps are just gonna, you know, smack him around a little bit, but... it's one big ultimate down.
Yep, that's about Winter Wyvern right there.
No, that's not all Wyvern. Come on now. I like this. They've made the replicate. They're gonna send Morphling down to keep this farm up. And you can always just go ahead and come back to the replicate. Oso is way too far forward here. He needs to be very careful. Frost Arrow will connect, as was the Arctic Burn. Tidehunter standing nearby, though. He's got the Ravage. This is a beautiful time for a Ravage. We'll be able to connect on 4 of them here. And RK will come back. There's a nice gust coming out here from the Drow Ranger. She's going to be able to clean up. Looks like Sacred's in a lot of trouble, too. He's going to be able to get a double kill over, though. And Disruption will come out. We'll be able to save them. Ashendir's in a lot of trouble as well. Slark gonna have to pop the Shadow Dance. He's giving chase now. They're gonna be able to heal up Horseman, and RK is dominating. That is 4 dead heroes on the side of the Dire.
They took a gust into a waveform with Max Agi. That definitely hurt. And
there goes the tower. They could probably continue pushing on this.
Now, I don't want to say the game's over already, but this is the oh god, they're snowballing. How do we fight them situation you run into versus the Drow lineup.
Well, they have to keep the pressure up, honestly, though, because as long as they keep up the pressure, they're not going to be able to have any time to farm. They're not going to get any items. I don't know. I would like to see them go for another objective now. Did Wyvern just take that regen rune with the Shadow Demon sitting so low?
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, regen's bottom. Regen. Or does it switch over?
No, because the next rune didn't pop yet.
And Drow Ranger actually going to be going for a Shadow Blade herself. Has picked up the Shadow Amulet here.
Shadow Demon took a haste rune. He just got
Look at him go. Speedy Bencho. Bottom lane, Slark's just kind of hanging out over here on the side. He's got a Shadow Blade though now, so he could go potentially for a pick. He's going to go ahead, pop it. They use the Moonlight Shadow as well. And now Horseman's kind of caught in a bad situation. They will be able to land a pounce really easily onto Mata. They'll be able to take him down. Now Horseman, he's going to get stunned up. This orb does so much damage, he'll get taken down as well.
It's funny, they have an agi stat stealer and an in stat stealer, so...
Game of stealing stats.
Lots of stat steals. It's too bad they didn't have a silencer.
Timber,
well.
they need a Timber too.
Yeah, and oh man, stat stealing lineup?
Gosh, imagine. Imagine if you made a team just to steal everyone else's stats. Would that be legit? Would you be able to even run that?
Right now, Timber soft lanes, OD mid, Slark, silencer, and then you need one more stat stealer, which I don't know if there is anymore.
Did you say Timber already?
Yeah, Timber's your off lane, OD's your mid, Slark's your safe lane, and silencer's your support. Yeah, actually it wouldn't be terrible, but then you need a position 5 stat stealer, which only would exist if Underlord was in Captain's mode.
There you go. That'd be gross. I wouldn't want to face off against that.
That lineup could work. Or position 4 silencer, or position 4 Underlord, I mean.
Position 4 silencer is probably better than doing a position 5 silencer, personally.
Well, if you're gonna have Underlord, though. Oh man, Morphling's going straight E-Blade. This is gonna be ripped pretty much the entire team.
This Witch Doctor is very forward. He throws out the Donker. It's going to go ahead, pop the Lincolns over here on the side. Sacred getting position. He's got the Ravage. He's just going to walk in. Oh, it's a beautiful gust. They're going to be able to force him back, keep him silent. They'll be able to clean him up immediately here. In comes the the Witch. Able to clean up over here on the side, and there it is. There's the Winter's Curse. They're going to be able to take down the Witch Doctor almost completely. Slark being able to steal some of the stats over here off of the Witch Doctor, which again we talked about earlier. Another gust coming out, and then immediately Bencho gonna have to run himself back here. They pop the Shadow Dance, and they've got a bunch of illusions coming out of the Winter Wyvern. Nice wall, but it doesn't really cope connecting with this vacuum. Ashendeer's in a lot of trouble here. He's gonna finally be able to use that Force Staff to run himself out, and I think they're gonna be satisfied with just taking this tower.
I think OG could have saved the Morph there if he just astraled him. He had Force, he could have Force Staffed him up the hill too.
The Morph?
I don't know. Oh, not the Morph, sorry, the OD. OD could have astraled him or forced him up the hill.
True. And they'll be able to prolong the push using that Cold Embrace. Good spell. Right now, they're saying that the Morphling is sitting at 9.6k, Slark's sitting at 6.3, so it's about a 3k lead coming off. Arrow will come in, will connect over onto a creep, and they're rapidly losing towers here, as expected for a Drow strat.
Yep.
TP coming out down here.
They kind of need a smoke play here with Ravage.
Well, they already
maybe find a kill, get the tower.
Oh, they actually didn't get it off, actually, because they had a really well-timed gust.
And RK is rapidly approaching his E-Blade, which will be, you know, delete the hero button. 1080, 800, 1350, 940 on Slark. Yeah, pretty much everybody, almost everyone dies. The E-Blade combo. Especially if they get ulted by SD.
Slark giving a bit of chase down here. He hasn't been really successful, although, ooh, Horseman is in a very, precarious spot, immediately gonna get jumped on. Throws out the gust, not gonna be enough though. I don't think they really need to be spending time like doing heavy farming like this. I think they can just continuously group and take objectives, get smokes, take Roche, stuff like that. I mean, they don't have lifesteal over on the Drought though, so that'll make it a little bit more difficult, but...
Bencho might be dead. If he turns... Oh no, Slark's gonna give up. That's the one good thing is, even as far behind as they are, if they don't like keep grouping up and pushing as 5, Slark and like if they don't stay together and they don't keep taking towers and they start splitting up the farm like that, and Slark finds a free killer one or two, you know, especially if it's Drow, then they're not going to be able to push without Drow, and then you start having issues with them catching back up with items. So CR need to either do one of two things: smoke, get a kill, take Roche, get a tower, or just take a tower up or off. Right? Like they're so strong as 5 right now, even versus a Ravage. That's really what they need to do here.
And it looks like they're gonna group up down here on the bottom. They do need Darkseer, who's still top, but Mata's got a TP on him, so he can actually just TP right bottom and join the rest of the team quite easily here. It's actually got Graves completed too. Lots of dust. 4 dusts. And that's the E-Blade now. 21-minute E-Blade over on RK. Lincoln's E-Blade, Aquila, and Brown Boots. Gonna jump immediately over onto Slark. He's gonna be able to run himself away though, and that's a nice Splinter Blast coming out. They need to use the detection. That's gonna be— oh, Witch Doctor is gonna just barely make it out. Voodoo Restoration and the help coming out from OD. Gonna be able to spare him over here.
It's a really good looking Ravage.
They do have the Sentry Ward though. They do spot him out. They'll still be able to get the Ravage off. It will connect over onto 4 heroes here. And now they might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. Immediately gonna get blown up over here. So I'm gonna have to pop the Shadow Dance. They're all just fighting within this wall. That is a very, very bad idea. Bencho's sitting very, very low here as well. And there's gonna be a lot of damage. Splinter Blast will be able to go and clean up over on the side. Drow's just popping off everyone from the back around here. I don't know if they can even go toe-to-toe with this.
No, with Drow alive.
They're just doing so much damage. Another E-Blade gets thrown out onto Slark. He's just gonna have to retreat here. He doesn't have the Shadow Dance any longer either. So it's only got about a 30-second cooldown. And I think they're gonna go for the Roche next. Interesting that all these supports have like vision items, but they're in their inventories. Like we got Sentry Wards over on the Winter Wyvern, but not on her quite yet. We've got 4 Dust sitting over on Mata, and Bencho has a smoke.
Man, game's too fast paced for that.
I guess. Can't get the courier.
Don't have time for that. Mata just being beaten over the head while frozen. It's a rough life.
And that'll be Roche. RK's gonna be able to pick up the Aegis, and I'm sure this is gonna translate either into a high ground push or a tier 2 top push, or both.
OD's going at Atos.
I would like to see the Dragonlance on him, but
Yep.
still a decent pickup. Ooh, the E-Blade coming out should be able to take down this OD. He's going to try to force staff himself away, but he's not going to be able to get out, and my mouse is going to go weird in the middle of that fight. Arrow will connect over onto RK. He's not really too afraid, though, of this Mirana. Wasn't sure if he was going to try to go for that courier snipe as well. And Bencho will be able to throw out the disruption. They throw out a gust too. Cedar Boy's in a lot of trouble here. He's silenced up. He's not going to be able to run himself away. And he will get taken down. RK coming in as well. Going to give chase over onto the Witch Doctor. It's going to pop his Lincolns, however. It only pops once.
Don't Ravage.
That's how many bounces was that? That's pretty ridiculous.
But that's a really good job of Sacred not to Ravage there, because it looked like he walked out. It looks like he wanted to do it, and he just like, nah. That was really well played by him to hold it, because if he would have Ravaged there, that probably would have been high ground. Rax is gone, so.
I still have this Aegis. I would like to see them maybe push this top wave. And, gosh, this Mirana's so poor. She's got 2 Wraith Bands and Blade of Alacrity.
Now with Boot to Travel, Morphling can make an illusion. Just, split push, look for kill other ways on the map.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ways to rejoin his team and also split push at the same time now, especially with the replicate. And they'll go ahead, they'll advance over onto this top tier 2. Bencho, make illusions! Bencho's not making illusions. Uh-oh. Gus won't connect here over on Tidehunter. They do have the Slark. They do have a Sentry Ward. They will have vision of him over onto the side. They've got a Glimmer Cape that they just threw onto RK for some reason. And the arrow will connect over onto Bencho. It's a nice connection here. They're going to be able to just go ahead, freeze him up, save him, and just keep going in on this. Morphling up front and center. He just doesn't care. He's got that Aegis. He knows that he can survive pretty much anything that they throw at him. There's another Gus. Beautiful wall vacuum again. And they're just actually going to sit there for a little bit. The Ravage will come out though. Oh, Mata's in a lot of trouble. They actually popped the Aegis over onto RK. He needs to be coming back up here. He needs to go and shut down this Witch Doctor, but they're just not paying attention to him. He's so far in the back. And they're not going to be able... Oh, they put off the heal. This could be very, very bad for RK. He's going to be able to morph shift though over onto here, and he's going to give a chase over onto Woody. Another Docker coming in. Arrow will come in as well, and everyone's sitting at a pretty low health coming out from the side of CerDota. They've lost the Darkseer in the process, but Prancing Roosters has lost 3 heroes as well. And looks like they're satisfied with that push. And they're just gonna back off. Right now we're seeing the Morphling leading. He's got about 15,000 net worth. Next closest is the off lane on the side of CerDota2 with 9,001, 9,001 over on the Drow, and then our poor little Slark here sitting at 8k. And they're ready to go again. Now they don't have Ravage for this. They don't have the OD ultimate either. And they don't have the Witch Doctor ultimate. They still have sentries. They were being very smart about this. Gonna be able to go... Oh, they almost totally take down the Slark. A nice pounce will be able to save his life. And Oso is very forward here. He needs to be kind of careful. He's gonna drop down again. They use the Glimmer Cape over onto him. And they're just throwing stacks of the Shadow Poison over onto this OD. I mean, now is the time for CerDota. I mean, they don't have any of their big teamfight ultis, although it looks like the Witch Doctor has been able to recover his now, but of course Witch Doctor is only sitting at level 11, so it's a fairly short cooldown.
I wonder if Slark's trying to build an Orchid. Yep, he is. Got the robe and he's got the Sobi's mask sitting in his inventory, so...
He's gonna have to be really careful. He's gonna try to go after this, this Morphling. He's gonna have to make sure that somebody pops that Lincoln's first.
Yep.
This is a waste. Another arrow coming in will only connect over onto Cardi.
I mean, he's had a lot of luck with the Witch Doctor cask. Killing it.
We've also been bunched up quite a bit over on the side of CerDota. And RK's actually godlike. He's actually able to take down Tidehunter over here in the spot lane. And he's gonna have an
that's push time.
Yep, he's got that replicate too, so he can just continuously push out these waves and just make his way back to team.
You know, Ravage, that's probably Rex. I'll see his buyback.
And there's the replicates coming out here. They're doing a fair amount of damage. What's happening with these replicates? These replicates aren't doing anything. Meanwhile, we see that the OD just gets blown up immediately. Mata's gonna be able to pull them forward. Oh, that's a nice Winter's Curse coming in here. That Voodoo Restoration, though, actually gonna be able to keep Alchem's Chainsaw in the mix here. Of course, Mirana not having the most damage either right now. Just completing that Aquila. They use Dust, though. They're going to be able to have some vision over here onto the side. Mata's in a little bit of trouble here. He uses a Surge. Isn't going to be able to quite run himself out because he's pounced, but he'll use the wall and force them back. It looks like they're just going to rotate over to mid and wash, rinse, repeat. Mid tower will go down. Disruption will come out. Comes out over onto Drow Ranger. And they're just mowing through these racks. And they go for a rotation down to the bottom. They're gonna go for Megas. They're just so stacked over here on the side of CerDota right now. They've got a 20,000 team net worth lead, and there's a 10,000 lead in team experience.
It has a Ravage with a Blink, so...
That could be really big for them, but I don't think they have enough damage to follow up. I mean, we watched the Mirana when she got pulled into that Winter's Curse over onto the Witch Doctor, and she had just no damage. She couldn't out-damage the Voodoo Restoration. Slark's got a bit of damage here, but there's nowhere compared to, you know, the damage that's coming out from this Drow Ranger and, of course, the Morphling.
I mean, I think what we'll see is they have really won the fight with the Blink Dagger. If that Blink Dagger Ravage gets them a team kill victory, then they still have a shot, but this is like they have one shot with that Blink Dagger, and that's pretty much going to be the game, if not already over.
I mean, it's pretty hard to come back from 2 racks down, especially with a giant lead like this. They don't actually have the sentry ward placed though right now, although Slark has realized that he probably shouldn't jump on this Morphling with all these other heroes nearby. In fact, he probably shouldn't jump on the Morphling at all. A little bit early on this disruption coming out here for Morphling.
Can you disassemble Echo Saber? I don't
know actually, I've never tried it. Look at these waves. All of these waves of bodies of water.
He could have killed Slark right there, actually.
He could have just gone for the E-Blade.
We'll
instead take Murata just immediately out of the game. There was a cat lady there. And the heal will come out again. They'll go ahead, they'll make illusions of the Drow Ranger here. Odie gonna be able to just take this down pretty easily, but they're in for round 2 now. They know Murata's not up. The Lincolns will get popped. They'll be able to throw a Donker out. It will just go flying backwards towards this illusion. And we're going to see the Winter's Curse coming out here. Slark is actually going to kill his own teammate. In comes the Ravage, though. Beautiful Ravage, going to be able to hit every single player over on the side of CerDota, but they were able to take down the Drow Ranger. And now they're just kind of duking it out over here. Sacred is in a lot of trouble. He's trying to run himself out, but I think... Nope, they're going to focus and put the objective here over onto the racks. That's going to be Megas for the side of CerDota.
Yeah, unfortunately, Morphling still hits for almost 300, so...
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And the GG gets called. CerDota will be able to secure this first game. Oh, man. A Shadow Demon and a Drow strat. That's pretty nasty. Alright guys, that concludes game 1 of the series. I don't think I'm going to be able to do game 2, unfortunately. I'm actually feeling pretty kind of awful tonight. I'm not feeling very well. So thank you so much for watching though, and if you want to continue watching this game in client, you can watch it over if you look up Requiem Autumn Tournament, and it's CerDota2 versus Prancing Roosters. Thank you so much, Pink Tops, for being my co tonight.
Anytime.
And we'll see you guys around. GG.